Good, good, good. What's up? How you doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
Great, great, great.
This is my friend from Valdosta, Georgia.
Yes, George.
George Boston Rhynes, the Getto Free Press. Am I not right?
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
And we're so happy to hear from you this morning. What projects do you have in the oven right now?
Well, first of all, I would like to say I give honor to God for allowing me to be on the radio with a person that has my greatest respect with Al Sharpton and National Action Network and all the work that you do. I want to commend you. I want to commend Al Sharpton for creating an organization. Although the other civil rights organizations may not be in South Georgia or Middle Georgia on some of the issues that you all are on with the Justice League United with Bobby Worthy. But I commend you for what you're doing. Often the common folks on the street will believe that our civil rights organizations are not addressing our issues, but I know that our issues are so great and broad until everybody is trying to do what they do. However, I think that one of the hottest issues right now, to answer your question, to get back on track, one of the hottest issues in the United States of America right now, let me repeat, for all the people in Macon, Gordon, and in that general area there, don't think that your problems there are isolated from Quitman down here in South Georgia. There is an asserted effort by people unknown right now, but I do believe they're going to be identified to control, suppress, and abate the black vote. If the members of our armed forces cannot vote into office the person that they want to represent them, then our democracy is in peril and shambles. And this is the greatest thing that I'm working on right now, is to ensure that our people get out and register to vote. And when they come at our mayors or our governors or whoever it may be and other elected officials, we have to turn that energy into voting power. And you cannot vote unless you register. And once you get registered, you got to vote. So the major issue, short form, as I can put it, as short as I can put it, is voter registration.
I must agree with you. It is. Voter registration is extremely important, and also getting out the vote. We've got to register, and then we've got to get out the vote. I have been watching your videos, and I see that a lot of things, if people want to hear the truth of what's going on in Gordon, what's going on in Quitman, they need to go to YouTube, and what's that name they need to put in order to pull those videos up?
Boston G.B.R. That Boston G.B.R. You don't have to go to YouTube. Just any search engine, Boston G.B.R. People are right.
B as in boy.
Yes.
Boston G.B. as in boy. R.
Yes. Boston.
You can go to any search engine and put that in, and then how many videos do you have in your archive at this time?
It's 4,500. And if you go to some of my other channel, not to mention my blog, which is kvci.blogspot.com, you'll find more.
Repeat that again.
kvci.blogspot.com. I repeat it again. kvci.blogspot.com.
Okay. So you do a blog also. Now, one thing I've noticed, I looked at the news on Channel 13. They took a whole section, and the way they reported it, it made it be falsified.
Mm-hmm.
But then I turned around and looked at your video of the same thing that they had taken. You had the full entire conversation on tape, and it gave a whole different light to what was being said. And I noticed that when you take from the beginning to the end, and you got the whole thing on tape. The only thing you have not been able to take is inside the courtroom. Am I not correct?
That is correct, and I am working on the proper paperwork to get that done. here in August, on August the 19th, Equipment 10 plus 2, who you all need to go to my YouTube and look at them. I intend to be in the courtroom if that is the law. I'm going to chase these court cases to the law, and I'm going to do everything I can to report them, because there is an asserted effort, as Elijah Muhammad said, and I'm not a Muslim, as Louis Farrakhan said, and I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam, and as W.D. Muhammad said under Al-Islam. Now look, there is an asserted effort to keep us all deaf, dumb, and blind to the times. They're not able to make intelligent decisions. So the way they do that is by distorting the truth, snipping it, soundbiting it, but never getting the truth out to you. So this is why I try to give the complete stories. Now, they'll call me all these ugly names, but that's okay, because in the end, only truth, right, and justice will win.
That's correct, and I do appreciate what you're doing now on August the
19th.
the 19th, you're going to be in Macon, Georgia, right?
No, August the 19th, I will be in Quitman, Georgia, in the courtroom where these 12 outstanding citizens who did nothing wrong, all they did was went out into the community. And most of them are educators. Nancy Dillon has a PhD. Diane Thomas is working on her PhD. These are the best citizens that Brooks County has ever produced. They got out in the streets. They had citizens to fill out absentee ballots because they believed their ballots wasn't being counted. And so they put a majority on the Brooks County Board of Education for the first time in the history of that county. Then some people was not happy with that. We believe that the district attorney, David Miller, assistant district attorney Brad Sheila, who was on the Board of Education, crumped up these charges along with the G.B.R. and possibly, I'm saying possibly, the governor of the state of Georgia, Nathan Deal, and he removed those 3 people from the Brooks County Board, but he had to put them back because it's been almost 4 years, and they still have not gone to trial. Let me close and say about Sara. Lula Smart, only one of those 12 people have been to trial. The first trial ended up in a mistrial. The second was a mistrial. Now the state of Georgia got a third trial on the same individual for a third trial on August the 19th. It is a disgrace. I don't understand where our national civil rights organization, our religious community, and everyday common white right people, I don't understand why they don't stand and support the Equipment 10 plus 2.
That's right. I've been watching that, and I've been watching the videos and paying close attention in the news, and I am concerned about it. Now, we are working real hard with National Action Network to bring some knowledge and some information to our community. On August the 8th at 5 o'clock, Mr. Rhynes is going to be at the Macon City Hall with the National Action Network in our monthly meeting. And we want you to be there, and we're going to have another speaker there, and we want you to be there and witness. We're going to have it set up, Mr. Rhynes. If you want to show a few clips from your video, we'll have it available where it can show up on the screen and everything. If you want to show some of the videos. And we do appreciate all that you're doing to get the correct news out there to the people, because it's time out for them doing those little sign bouts, and what they do is they take a little bit of something and then they turn it around and say just the opposite of what has been said. I was just thinking about Tuesday when we were down there at the courthouse. The young lady asked me a question. She said, do you think the citizens of Gordon are divided? I said, I feel like there is some division there. She said, do you think Mayor Lou caused it? I said, no, it was there before she got there. Now, she was trying to make me say that the problems that they have in Gordon, the racial divide that's going on there, because of Mayor Lou. Whereas Mayor Lou has put forth an effort to bring the people together. And that is the key. I believe that there will be a unification of the community if Mayor Lou is allowed to do her job, because she has a great rapport with the white citizens there as well as the black community. And they were in the process of getting ready to do some great work going about black people only.
That's right.
She had white votes also. She couldn't have made it if she hadn't had black or white supporters as well. And we got to understand that anybody that get in office, it's not by one specific group of people. It's by a group of registered voters. And I do thank you for calling in today, and we thank you for the information that you have shared with us. And we're looking for a great time on the 8th. And we're inviting all of Macon to come out and meet and greet Mr. Rhynes, the Getto Free Press. He's doing an excellent job. Go on YouTube and look up some of his videos and see some of his work. And I think you'll be greatly impressed. Go ahead.
Let me close out by saying this, because I cannot, you asked me a question at the beginning, and I want to close with the beginning question. What concerns me the most, and what is forefront in the Getto Free Press's mind, is when I was called to Quitman, Georgia, about the newly elected black mayor there, James C. Brown III. Then I was called to Meigs, Georgia, where Mayor Linda Harris has suffered so much, arrested twice, given 2 criminal trespasses. Her brother, Edward and Calvin, have been arrested, given 2 criminal trespasses. The city manager finally resigned a couple of weeks ago, and I've been covering that too. Wait a minute, haven't finished. Please, one other. Then I was called from there to Dawson, Georgia, wherein Chris Wright was shot 6 times, left in his yard for dead. And then his neighbor came over. Wait, I haven't finished yet. Then from there I was called to Gordon, Georgia, where Mary Ann Whippaloo were going through the same thing of mistreatment, all because, in my opinion, they don't want blacks to be over these little small towns where blacks vote blacks into office. We have always been under the white leadership. This is not a race thing, this is a truth thing. One other thing, then I was called to Lumpkin, Georgia, where a black mayor, Charles Gibson, was called a nigger. I don't want to use the word N. They say, Ryan, don't do that. Call it for what it is. And this was by a white councilwoman, referred to him as that, and called him a lot of other names. And so then I later got calls from Warrenton, Davisboro, and other cities, and I have appealed unto everybody. The Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, the governor of the state of Georgia, the Georgia Attorney General. Look at all the confusion when you go to Boston G.B.R. There is almost violence in these meetings, and yet very few people outside of the National Action Network and Sara Hunt and Al Sharpton's people and Bobby Worthy of the Justice League United. I'm asking, where is, and Gabriel have touched in on it, but why is it that we cannot see that this is the new emergency of the Jim Crow law to suppress the black vote? And y'all excuse me, I could say more, but just go to Boston G.B.R. I can't say much here today that I haven't already said.
That's true, and thank you so much. We do appreciate all that you do, and thank you for sharing your information with us today. And we look forward to seeing you on August the 8th. I
will be there, and I'm going to ask you one question.
Okay.
Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I was raised in a home where my grandmother taught us that if you don't stand for something, you'll lay down for anything. And I was 11 years old when I saw the Ku Klux Klan had planned to kill a lady in my hometown named Miss Mag Mustang. And the Lord fixed it where I was going downtown to get groceries, and I dropped the item, and when I went to pick it up, they were saying what they were going to do to Miss Mustang. And God used me to go to her house and warn her. And when they got there, she was ready for me. She chopped one of the men's hand off. And that's when we really discovered who the Klansmen were in my little hometown. But I tell you, since then I've had a lot of experiences, and I love people. And I love right. And I love to see people treated right. Homeless or whatever. Human beings have rights. And we need to protect the rights of the people. And that's why I do what I do.
Thank you very much. You have a good day. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Allowing me this opportunity to call in. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Once again, this is George Boston Rhynes, and this is the Getto Free Press. I want to thank Sarah Hunt for calling me the other day and asking me to call in today. You know, there's something strange happening in our world when black men can sit back and not say nothing. When our black women are in the forefront, doing what God called us to do. It's mind-wrecking to see white right people stand up and fight for black folk when all black folk apparently can do is go to church, mosque, synagogue or temple or masjid on Jummah or in Sunday morning worship or Bible study or Friday night bear meeting and not get involved in the political arena that shapes our future and the future of our children. Some churches has chosen to live in fear in disguise that God didn't call them to do that, but that he called me, Miss Hunt, and others to do this for them, which is the biggest lie and cover that any human being can make to try and cover their own individual fears. And I do mean fear. Well, some of you all may ask, Rhynes, why you say fear? I don't talk about what I don't know about. I lived in fear at one time until I woke up, or rather God woke me up out of the spell of the Leviathan. Oh yeah, I lived in fear. Yet I said I love Jesus. I said I love God. I received my first, I don't even want to go there. I received my, I don't want to go there. I'll leave that alone. But let me say this. I was licensed in the church. Received my training all of my life in the church. But when I began to look and to study beyond what they had taught me, I went back and started looking at the first chapter of Genesis about the Ethiopia and those Gihon and all those rivers right there in Africa. In the Bible, in the first chapter. Yet nobody would tell me about that when I was too young and too green and too ignorant and too afraid to stand up and research. But by God's grace, I began to look. I began to study and see and try to accept why before the Bible was ever written, the pyramids there in the Giza Plateau was standing. Yet they omitted that from the volume of sacred law. And why would they do that? So then I started studying a little deeper. I had to go back and study about King Khufu. I had to go back and start studying about Imhotep. I had to go back and start reading about the little midget people, the Twa. I had to go back. In back of the back, behind the man sitting in the back, playing game with the man in back of the back. And so when I went back there, where they told me don't go, then I began to read what they told me not to read, which was the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden. Well, if I knew where there was, and if my grand-uncle, Uncle Jack over in Brooks County knew where they were, and he read them, so I started reading them too. From there to Constantine, to King James, not just the King James Bible, but I started reading the King James history of King James and who that man was. Then I went back and began to study about the Nicene Council. Then I picked up and started reading about the Torah, got a Torah. Went and got the message to the black man by the Nation of Islam. Went back and started reading. Picked up, bought me an Egyptian Book of the Dead off Hunter Street up there now called Martin Luther King in Atlanta. Bought that book. I began to study to introduce my mind to what they wouldn't teach me in the church because they was too afraid that somebody was going to report the truth and that the truth would set us free, as Jesus said. Y'all excuse me. I'm sorry. Just follow this channel and see if you can find some good in it. Okay? That's Boston G.B.R. Share it with other people around the world. There's nothing out here that I'm ashamed of. I've made no statements that had hatred or venom, as the Wilkinson County Post are trying to paint a picture of me. And it's okay. It's okay. They are supposed to do this. They are supposed to do worse. You see, the Bible tells us, perhaps David said it best. David was not a bad man, and David was not necessarily a perfect man. But God found some good in him in spite of all the bad that he did. And so David learned from his mistakes. And David said, and this is why I'm mentioning David, because of what they are trying to hype up about me. Posting videos that are not in good taste. What do you have in your mind that make you dislike the truth? Inciting videos, they say. Inciting videos. Inciting what? We don't have to look at who the real haters are. That's not even a discussion, a subject for discussion. All we have to do is look down the annals of history. Video, documents, radio, television, and monuments will show who the real haters are and who hated who. So I don't even want to go down that road, calling black folks racist. You don't find us doing to white folk what white folks did to us. And I don't mean all white folk, because some white folks, I call them white right people, fought for black folk before we knew what the fight was all about. Look, I'm going to close this out. Peace be unto you. May God bless you. And this is what I do. And on August the... How do you think of Judge Lane? Is he handling pretty good? Or?
I think he's doing a good job.
So what about the renovation in the courthouse? You know, they done renovation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but to me, I see some change, but we still see some more work because the judge keeps saying there's too much noise. Am I correct?
Right.
Yeah. So some little confidence, maybe?
Perhaps. Perhaps.
But anyway, anything else you want to say? I'm just get opinions from people here. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, not anything.
Thank you so much, Brother Brown. That is Brother Brown. Once again, this is the Quitman 10+2 Sega, and there's so much that those people have gone through, that the state of Georgia have taken them through. It's just unreal, to tell you the truth. And once again, Lula Smart, one of the Quitman 10+2, will be back in the courtroom on August the 19th, I believe it is. You'll be getting other videos on that. But it is indeed a disgrace, in my opinion, for all of that pain to be inflicted upon those outstanding citizens, all because I believe, and others believe, they just didn't like it because there was a majority black presence on the Brooks County Board of Education. We have always been under whites, but when it comes time for them to be under us, well, you'll get the rest of the story. And for what is happening in our cities, let's listen to Brother John Robinson, and then we'll close this out. A dear friend of mine. What do you think about this? See, this is only the second thing. What do you think about those? We were looking at television yesterday, or some news reporter. We saw it about all the time. I think their reporter was here. But don't you think that, considering how long the Quitman 10+2 has been waiting for over 3 years, that we probably should have to get started. I mean, I feel right, but what do you think about that?
It's very disappointing that we don't have little news when you cover on something so important as this. Okay? And fit downright is great, to be honest with you. And I'm criticizing it really good. Ran off with Daily Times with it, and I told David reporter that it was very disappointing. They should have been there yesterday, and that we were absolutely let down by the newspapers. I told him that today.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to say?
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, a change is going to come, and this is what some people fear. But once again, I'm saying to all of you, if they don't tell our story, you got your camera, you got your cell phones. And you know Al Sharpton said a few weeks ago that those people down in Florida, those police officers, not people, those police officers were in the Klan. So now just maybe we can get a better feel of what's going on. And not to mention the fact that judges, they say, on that same article, they saying judges, professional people are members of the Klan. So all we're saying is beware. Beware and do what you must do in times like these. And Bobby Worthy, we appreciate what you and the Justice League have done. And again, Sara Hunt, the National Action Network under Al Sharpton, we appreciate what you've done. I was at Mooresport Bridge Saturday, and I was somewhat disappointed in the fact that, well, that's another story for another day. But anyway, peace be unto you. And I do believe, instead of us focusing so much on the dead, we need to focus on the living and the women who are suffering and the black elected mayors, the newly elected black mayors. Peace be unto you. Bye-bye. We go. The Getto Free Press. Doing what we do because it must be done.